I see why they went out of, like, Hummers kind of died out.
I mean, I never had any issues with mine.
No, that H1, like, Humvee type Hummer, that shit sucked.
I mean, yeah, but I know at least the H3 that I had, it was nice. I mean, I never had any problems. I mean, you could pretty much run over whatever you wanted to.
Because you run over a mountain.
I mean, it took it up a mountain, took it mudding, all kinds of stuff.
For real, a Hummer?
Yeah.
I never would see I would never think
H1s are supposed to be beasts of that stuff. That's what they're actually built for.
I would never think I've seen a Hummer actually do something like that.
Yeah, no, totally have. I used to take it out in the mountains all the time.
So what happened to your Hummer?
Sold it.
What? Why? You just got tired of it?
Well, my parents sold it. I guess I should say.
Too much gas. You get it drunk from it?
No, they wanted a truck. So they made me get rid of it so they could get a truck. So they didn't like the hauling capacity of a Hummer.
That's fair enough, because it's pretty much a big ass SUV. You can really think about it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it actually did decent towing because we towed a backhoe with it once, and it did fine. We took it up a mountain. It actually pulled it up the mountain, but I don't know, for some reason they wanted me to have a truck instead. So
I'd rather have a truck than a Hummer. I feel like so much more stuff you could accomplish with a truck.
Yeah, but then there's just so much more shit they wanted me to do that I did not want to.
Well, see, that's the catch-22. Having a Hummer, I feel like it's more like people who have Ford Raptors. It's more like a fun type of utility type car, but it's not really to serve a purpose. Because ain't like a Hummer. It's like a daily type SUV you could drive around your kids in, and ain't like the Ford Raptor you could actually pull. I mean, you probably can pull something with the flatbed in the back of the Ford Raptor. It's so small, it's like pointless.
Yeah, I mean, really, I want to say like a Raptor's only a 150 if I remember right. It's just got a shorter bed and it's beefed up a little bit and it's jacked up and.
No, it's fast.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean nothing. I mean, let's be real here. I mean, you take a Ford, especially their King Ranches that have the twin turbos. I mean, those things are beasts.
If you say so.
I mean, you can, especially with a tuner on it, you can rip the tires right off that bad boy.
I had one of my friends, he had a King Ranch. He blew his turbo one day. I laughed.
Hey, don't make fun of my truck.
I didn't say you.
Well, you had somebody else? You making fun of me?
So, let's talk about...
Hey, no. You're going to pick on me? I didn't blow my turbo. The clamp blew off. I was pulling too much weight with it.
So, how did you get home that day?
How did I get home that day?
With a blown turbo.
I didn't have a blown turbo. The clamp came off. So I had to readjust the clamp with whatever the hell I could find in my little shitty-ass toolbox. So I want to say I had to use like a pair of needle nose pliers. It really sucked.
I could just imagine.
Yeah, well, that and I had some redneck mechanic. Thank God it actually worked. But as soon as I got to a dealership, I made sure I took that shit off. But like he was like, just wrap some paper towels around the hose on the inside and then put it on. And I was like, this sounds like a horrible fucking idea, but it worked.
That definitely sounds like a horrible idea. What?
Yeah, like inside the hose, like where the pieces meet, like the turbo and the rubber hose. I swear to God, I legit wrapped paper towels up. Actually, I think it was napkins because that's all I had from like McDonald's or some shit, and I wrapped it around the aluminum piece of the turbo and put in the rubber piece and reconnected it, and it lasted for almost 1,000 miles.
That is very scary because that paper towel got inside your turbo engine. Oh, you've been fucked.
Oh, I know, that was my biggest fear. So much biggest fear. I was just like, all right, well, it's not like I had a choice. It was either sit alongside a major highway or, because I was hauling a really big car hauler trailer, so I didn't have a choice.
I completely understand. But RIP to the 7-year-old and the driver. You are in our prayers. Sorry that she passed away so early, the 7-year-old and driver. Sorry that she passed away from I don't think he was a drunk driver. I just think it's one of the things where people not pay attention to the roads and then try to pick up their phone and they just jerk over.
Yeah, or all these people that do their makeup and shit while they're driving.
It's a utility utility truck.
It could be a woman.
It's a utility truck.
Again, it could be a woman. There's a lot of women out there that do hard work now. There's a lot of women that work harder than men.
I didn't say they don't, but I said it's a utility.
That's what you were getting at.
It's a utility truck.
No, I could tell that shit in your voice. That's why you keep saying it's a utility vehicle. Well, you don't think a woman can do what a man can? I see how you are. Sexist.
Yeah, well.
Wow, you're not even denying it. All right, we're just going to move to the next topic.
What? I feel like certain jobs is for men and certain jobs is for...
Whoa. You're going to get us in trouble over here.
No, it's more realistic. Like...
No. But anyways, we're going to move on to the next subject before we get in trouble and lose a lot of listeners.
Yeah. Let's talk about what happened in Philadelphia. You want to start off?
Yeah, so apparently there was a man having a mental health issue.
27-year-old Walter Wallace Jr.
Who was also black, of course.
African American, let's just say that.
Right, African American. Well, I mean, you never know. Obama's the one who said that calling people African American was racist.
What?
He's the one who changed it.
I never... What?
Yeah, I'm being serious. That's why it's whenever you look up on all your shit now, you have to put black.
I feel like that's more racist.
I mean, that's what I think, too. I don't like being called white. I preferred Caucasian. I mean, at least I'm still fucked up. I don't like being called Caucasian, but it's better than being called white.
I could call you something else.
I mean, I know you can, too, and I can call you something else, too.
Yeah, well, our friendship may not last.
But anyways, so this guy was having a mental health breakdown, and his mother had actually called the...
It was the neighbors that called the cops because he was walking around the outside with a knife and waving it around.
No, I thought his mother called from the story I read. I could have sworn that's what it said. His mother had called and they had asked for ambulance because he was having a mental breakdown.
The story I read, the neighbors had called the cops because he was waving the knife frantically around in the middle of the street.
Huh. All right, well, here, you talk about it. I'm going to look this up because I swear his mother called because I know there was a whole thing that said where they had specifically asked for an ambulance and they didn't want a police vehicle that's showing up.
Yeah, according to the story I read, a neighbor had called and they was like, hey, we need an ambulance to come. We don't feel like a police need to come. But I didn't hear the parents call.
Yeah, well, I looked. And so we just found out it was actually the neighbors that did call. And
so I was correct.
Yeah, you were right. And
I like to hear
apparently he his family had called the police multiple times throughout the day before all of this happened. And of course the police chief is refusing to answer questions about whether or not the officers that shot him are actually the ones that could have possibly responded to him beforehand, which to me is really messed up because, I mean, it's not that complicated to find that out, to be completely honest.
Really not. And also what's messed up is yesterday while his wife was supposed to be induced into labor, so not only did he have a kid, but now his kid is going to be fatherless because the cops killed him. And so far, after 3 days of looting, over 30 cops have been injured, 91 people have been arrested in Philly, and so far, I don't know how this happened, but 30 people have been arrested in New York.
Protesting over this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What, was it Philly that one cop was legit ran over by a truck?
I didn't see that story.
Oh, I actually watched the video. It was pretty rough.
Oh.
I mean, they weren't like up close and personal, but like you could see from a distance, like somebody just floored it and drove straight through a wall of cops.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when that video in New York when that cop ran through a wall of protesters. You seen that video?
Yeah, they were attacking his car.
I mean, still, it's all you gotta do is reverse.
I mean, he really couldn't go anywhere.
He could have reversed. They was attacking his car because he kept going forward.
Yeah, but I mean, there was protesters behind him. He was like, I know, stuck in the middle, so he was going one way or the other.
Well, I just remember I thought he could have reversed.
No, I don't believe so. I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure he was in the middle of a street that they had blocked off, and they were just like there at the intersection. So
this go back into our cops need to be reformed, or we need a little special agency for cops before cops actually come. Need a little special agency just to come and handle certain stuff like this because this could have all been avoided. But also depends because if the cops was called like 3 times before, I feel like it could come up on the records like, hey, this guy got mental issues.
Yeah, but no. My favorite part about the entire story, we don't have the funding for tasers. I was like, hold on, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I seen it. I was like, what? The police chief was asked, hey, why didn't they lose tasers instead of just shooting him 14 times? Let me remind you, 14 bullets. They didn't say how many times each cop shot, but 14 bullets was found, bullet holes was found inside of him. So they have fault. Let's say they both fired 7 shots at one guy for holding a knife. They never really charged it though. He was just walking.
I mean, the way he came around the vehicle was a little bit quicker than he probably should have. I mean, that's probably why they took it as a sign. But I mean, again, I don't think they should have opened a fire. But my thing is like, I have a friend in Pennsylvania, and I mean, he lives in a small town, and I'm not really going to say where, but he lives in a small town in Pennsylvania, and their police force in this small town of maybe, I want to say, he said like most of the towns that surround the bigger-ish town, which even the bigger town only has like 20,000 people. Mm-hmm. And the smaller towns usually are like 300 or 400 people per town within like a 30-mile radius. And the outlying police that he lives in, which is a town of like 2,000 or 3,000 people, has a cable vehicle for their undercover cops. They have a Corvette. And this is local police.
What?
Yeah. They have brand new top-of-the-line vehicles, and they're really going to tell me that the Philadelphia police can't do this? And I'm not talking like, I mean, they have full undercover cars now. Like, most of all their cars are all unmarked vehicles other than a few.
Yeah.
And I'm not, like I said, we're not talking about, like, lower end. I mean, they have everything from Focuses to Fusions.
I seen a cop semi-truck. I never seen that before until my friend posted it. It was like a cop.
I don't know if that's real.
No, cop in Tennessee. Like, it's really real.
I know a picture you're talking about, but the only reason I could see why they do that is for whenever they actually catch somebody doing something wrong, so that way they can take the trailer without having to call a tow truck to do it. So,
I mean, it was in Tennessee, so I felt like in that case, yeah, I can see why they actually bring that, because it's like easier just to, like you said, pick up the trailer and stuff. I also thought like maybe they park in like some of them truck stations to try to find prostitutes or.
But it's all done up. I mean, it literally says police on the side. I mean, it has lights everywhere. Like, that shit was ridiculous.
Well, like I said, people are stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's got to be some reason. Well, we might have to look that up if we ever think about it or bored. Because I'd be interested in to know. Because, I mean, even though all they'd have to do is have a police officer with a CDL, unless maybe they're not allowed to drive vehicles that they... I mean, that's not... Would that be considered repossession?
I mean, I don't think...
Or seize.
I don't think a cop ever could really drive. That's why they always call tow trucks to, like, tow your car.
Yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe it's that way they can get into the back of the truck. So they just take the trailer and then have a tow truck driver just come grab the main thing, and then they can go through all the trailer.
Yeah. Well, I still don't understand how Philadelphia, a big city like that, is having cop, and you can't say the budget got cut this early because they've been saying they have this problem. So I mean, what? I still don't understand how. I've thought every cop have a taser. Literally, the way the police sheriff say, certain cops have tasers, certain cops don't. The cops that don't sometimes ask the cops that do have it, can they see their taser? So what you're literally saying, if I go to the store and have a taser, for a certain extent, I'm more powerful than certain cops.
I mean, well, now that I'm actually thinking about it, it's not even that they did. Even if, okay, say for instance they didn't have a taser, right?
Yeah.
What's one other thing that all cops carry that's not life-threatening?
A baton.
Okay, no, that's way too close and personal for somebody with a knife. Mace.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, and it's not like light mace. Like, that shit hurts. I've been maced by police before.
I've never been maced, so I never know.
Yeah, I know I have. But, yeah, no, that shit hurts. And, I mean, that would have at least given them time to restrain them. Like, I'm sorry.
I mean, I feel like, and then the sad part is, like, you seen other cops run like literally seconds after she